Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the FPI Financial Planning Week. We are on day 4 and our 4th webinar for this week. I want to say hello, everybody. Welcome to our 2 speakers here. We have got Mr. Lindwell Clark from the FSCA, and I will read their bios to you in a second. And we've got Rihanna Badenhorst from the FBI, who's going to talk about the role of regulation, planning, and consumer education when you are protecting your financial future. We are very happy that everybody is here and that you took the time to join us. I think this is an area of financial education that we don't always talk about, and I think it's very important. So let's look at who we have with us today. Lindwell is the head of consumer education at the FSCA, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. It's a position he's held since 2011. He is a teacher by heart and has got a Master of Education degree from the University of the Western Cape. He served as a teacher of mathematics, so kudos there, and curriculum advisor to the Western Cape Education Department. Lindwell is also a member of the advisory board, the technical committee, and the various working groups of the OECD's International Network on Financial Education. So this is work that is happening internationally across the global groups that are involved with the OECD. And Lindwell is also a member of IOSCO. Now, that's the International Organization for Securities Commissions on retail investor education. And I can carry on with Lindwell's bio for about 10 minutes more, but I think you get the idea. He's very qualified with financial education. And then we've got Rihanna Badenhorst with us, who is our pro bono coordinator at the Financial Planning Institute since March 2014. She is deeply passionate about consumer financial literacy and is committed to empowering individuals to make informed decisions. As the pro bono coordinator, Rihanna oversees and facilitates a range of financial literacy workshops and webinars, and her portfolio includes the coordination of key national initiatives such as Financial Planning Week, Global Money Week, Money Smart Week, and LeaderX every year. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to give over to Lindwell and Rihanna. If there are any questions, please type them in the chat. We will deal with them throughout. And at the end, I will ask questions. I will relay the questions to our 2 panelists. Thank you so much, Rihanna and Lindwell. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Nikki. And can I just ask you to just assist Tanya with just unmuting her mic? That will be great. Lindwell, thank you for joining me today. I think I'm going to kick off with the first question to you to tell us more about World Financial Planning Day and why that matters to us.
Good morning, Rihanna. Good morning, Nikki, and to everybody on the webinar. It's great to be here, and thank you for asking me to be part of this most momentous occasion. So, look, World Financial Planning Day is observed on the 8th of October. This year, it's obviously 2025. It's a global initiative that is led by the Financial Planning Standards Boards to promote the value of financial planning and working with certified financial professionals. But it also coincides with the IOSCO's World Investor Week. And the World Investor Week is celebrated in over 28 countries, including South Africa. And this day highlights how financial planning can transform lives by improving financial confidence, resilience, and financial well-being. And financial well-being is also being spoken of as financial health. But I think in South Africa, World Financial Planning Day is especially relevant due to the country's low financial literacy rate. I think our current index stands at about 52 out of 100, and obviously our high levels of consumer debt. And I think today, or the Financial Planning Day or week, reminds us that it's not just the wealthy that needs to plan our finances. It is a tool that we all need to build a secure financial future.
Yes, Lindwell, I fully agree that, especially with our low financial literacy and high debt, this is an important week for us. So you are also part of the IOSCO team, and I'd like you to just tell us about the purpose and impact of IOSCO's World Investor Week.
So IOSCO has this Committee 8, which looks at retail investors. And they've started with World Investor Week probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And it's being held during October. This year, it's in this week from the 6th till the 12th of October. And it basically focuses on investor education and protection. The themes, and of course, the IOSCO's got a working group, which I also sit on. And this year's themes includes technology, digital finance, artificial intelligence, and fraud and scam prevention. And these topics are very, very relevant in South Africa, in the South African landscape at the moment. And because digital services are growing rapidly, but so are the risks and online scams and, of course, misinformation. Just to add that the digital revolution has opened up some unprecedented opportunities for financial inclusion and access. And you know that now you can invest and you can save and you can just transact just by tapping on your phone, on your smartphone, or even on your laptop. But we all know with great convenience comes great responsibility. The same technology that empowers us is being weaponized by sophisticated criminals. AI, a tool with immense potential for good, is also being used to create hyper-realistic scams, making it harder to distinguish between what is legitimate investments and what is an opportunity for a fraudulent scheme. So World Investor Week complements World Financial Planning Day by addressing the broader investment landscape and empowering consumers to make informed financial decisions together with these initiatives to promote financial literacy, ethical advice, and regulatory safeguards. Sorry.
Thank you, Lindwell. And I think that is also why we have Financial Planning Week during this time, is because it coincides with these two very important initiatives, both World Financial Planning Day and the IOSCO World Investor Week. So as the regulator, how does the FSCA protect consumers or assist consumers in the sector?
So the FSCA, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, we are the market conduct regulator. And our mandate includes ensuring fair treatment of finances or financial customers or consumers as we know them, promoting financial literacy and maintaining integrity in the financial markets. The FSCA enforces compliance through licensing, supervision, and various consumer education initiatives. But also, besides the the compliance and licensing and supervision, we also do enforcement. So whenever a regulated entity steps out of line, a penalty is slapped onto them or they are debarred. I think recent developments is also looking at the rollout of the Conduct of Financial Institutions, the COFI bill, which aims to streamline some of this regulation because we have a lot of regulatory laws, but we're trying to streamline them through the COFI bill. And to improve consumer outcomes, we're trying to look at regulation from an outcomes point of view and not just purely being reactive. We've also launched a digital transformation strategy at the FSCA, and this is to enhance oversight and responsiveness. I spoke about the World Investor Week theme being technology and AI, and as a regulator, we also got to keep abreast with how the scamsters are thinking and those that are trying to circumvent the regulations. But I think, Rihanna, one thing I've mentioned earlier on now is our biggest form of protection is probably being informed. And like I've said also, we do have a mandate to promote financial literacy and to provide financial education through various channels. So yeah, I think with all of these regulatory actions we have, I still believe as an educator that the biggest form of protection is to be informed so that you know what to look out for when the scams does come across your desk.
You're quite true. And for the consumers out there, as the regulator, the financial planners that is members of the Financial Planning Institute cannot conduct business unless they are licensed with the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. So as a consumer, please make sure that your financial professional is licensed with the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, so that should there be a case where you feel you have been wronged, you have the recourse, you can approach the Financial Sector Conduct Authority for assistance. I think it's very important for consumers to know where they can actually get help. And that brings me to my next question, is what tools are available to consumers to report misconduct? Because there's various other tools available. Am I right, Lindwell?
Definitely. And look, obviously, like I said, the biggest tool is being financially literate. But being financial literate also means you know where to complain and where to go seek recourse. And that's not just in terms of misconduct. I think this in terms of scans as well. And South Africa's got quite a wide, what we call an ombud scheme. But recently, we've actually tried to narrow the ombud schemes under one umbrella, and the National Financial Ombud Scheme was formed. And here you can look at complaints, which is related to banks, to credit providers, to life insurers, to even to non-life insurance. And they provide you with free, impartial, and obviously confidential dispute resolution. The challenge always with all of these institutions, Rihanna, is you got to be patient. We find that a lot of consumers, they don't really want to wait. We've got a obviously immediate gratification situation in South Africa, but you've got to walk the distance with the ombudsman, even with the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. If you do complain to us and you do bring not just complain, but bring a matter to our attention, which talks to market conduct of a financial institution and how different legislative related complaints are being dealt with. So you can just need to be patient. Also remember that the FSCA does not always deal with individual complaints. We look at industry-wide complaints, and we try then to speak to the industry to see how we can accommodate that and how we can resolve those. We have also the National Consumer Commission in South Africa, and they look at the Consumer Protection Act, the CPA. They've got 9 provincial consumer affairs offices, and there you can actually, within your province, you can look at where you can they're on the website, you can look up their details and contact them directly within your province, not just at the national body. In terms of the actual financial services and advice and products that are being sold, we have what we call the phase ombud, the ombud for the financial services providers. And here, if you think that your financial advisor or your financial services provider have not been given you, let's call it trustworthy, or they haven't been given you, or that you think that they're not fit and proper, then just make sure that you contact the FIS Ombud. If that does not help, obviously it gets escalated to the Financial Services Conduct Authority. And then finally, the ombuds for banking services, which also falls under the National Financial Ombud Schemes. So you could also contact them to get, and especially we get a lot of complaints around banking and banking services. And I think it's always good to know where exactly you need to complain. I think that in a nutshell, it's a lot said, but Rihanna, that sort of covers the areas of recourse. But I think from your side, planning is very essential for South Africans. So why is this important? Because South Africans, we've got different income levels, we've got different life stages. Why is financial planning essential for South Africans?
So in essence, Lynn, thank you for the question. Financial planning is a proactive approach. So it's managing your money in a way that is going to be beneficial to you. That is setting goals, preparing for emergencies, building long-term financial security, and especially in South Africa, where many households face economic uncertainty, rising debt levels, and limited retirement savings. Financial planning is not a luxury, it's a necessity.
Indeed.
Where someone is starting their career, raising a family, or approaching retirement, financial planning provides clarity and control. It empowers you to make informed decisions, avoid costly mistakes, and achieve financial independence. Like I said, financial planning is not a luxury. Every South African, whether you're earning minimum wages or managing a high income portfolio, you need to do financial planning. Our country has got such a volatile economy with high debt levels and low savings that it makes it critical for individuals to take that control of their financial futures. And that includes education, as we have mentioned earlier on. Financial planning helps you build resilience against unexpected events such as job losses, medical emergencies, or economic downturns. An emergency fund, for example, can prevent you from relying on high interest debts or even going to something like a machiniza. Understanding how to budget, save, and invest will empower you to make informed decisions. That is especially important in communities where literacy is low and predatory financial practices are common. Many South Africans live from paycheck to paycheck, often getting trapped in cycles of short-term borrowing. Financial planning introduces strategies for debt management and long-term financial stability. With increasing life expectancy and a shift away from guaranteed pension schemes, retirement planning is more and more important. Most South Africans are underprepared, and without proper planning, they will rely on family for support. The other thing is achieving your financial goals, whether it is a goal of buying your own property, funding education for your children, or starting a business. Financial planning provides you with that roadmap to do it. It helps you set realistic goals and be able to track it over time. Financial planning is not reserved for the wealthy. I think that's so important.
Yeah, indeed.
Even small, consistent savings can grow significant over time and through compound interest. The earlier one starts, the greater the impact, regardless of your income level. And we've seen through research that South Africans who work with a financial advisor or financial professional accumulate investment portfolios nearly 9.5 times larger than those who do not. This highlights the value of guidance, especially in navigating complex financial decisions. Research done by the FPSB in 2023 revealed that people that works with a financial professional enjoys a high level of life, more financial confidence, and experience less financial stress. The stats speaks for itself. 4 in 5 report living with stronger purposes. 3 in 5 says that more confidence solves more problems, and 3 in 5 is more financially secure. So this shows you the importance of financial planning throughout your life, through every life stage.
Indeed, and I think you've actually answered the question quite comprehensively, because if you look at the essence and why financial literacy is then important, because all the issues that you've mentioned as to why financial literacy is important for protecting your financial future, you can actually take it up in a nutshell and say financial literacy empowers the individual to make informed decisions, avoid debt traps, and plan effectively for retirement. And I think you've mentioned all of this already. But as you said, it reduces that vulnerability to fraud and scams, and it enables you to understand the implication of any financial decision that you make, or any financial product or service that you buy. And I think in South Africa, in the economic uncertainty nowadays, I think this is quite important. But maybe, Rihanna, you can just emphasize for us why and how can people, how can financial planning help people to navigate the economic uncertainty. We know there's high unemployment. We know we've got, like we've mentioned earlier on, there's high levels of debt. So how can financial planning actually help with all of these?
That's a very good question, Linwell. And as you have said, financial literacy education is very important because the minute you are educated and you've got some knowledge, you can also ask the right questions and you can also identify possible frauds and scams and information that has been shared, especially through social media, which is not the truth. But how can financial planning help you through this uncertainty? First of all, by building an emergency fund and managing your cash flow, financial planning provides you with a buffer against unexpected events that may arise. It improves, by having a structured budget, you can prioritize your expenses and avoid overspending, and you can direct your money towards saving, reducing debt, and making sure that you provide sufficiently for your financial future. Financial planning also introduces strategies to manage and reduce your debt. So should you be in a position where you do have debt to that you need to settle, a financial planner, through financial planning, can assist you with different ways to reduce your debt. One of the options is the avalanche method, where you pay off your debt, and the minute that debt is paid off, you can then use that money that you have available to start settling the next one, meaning that by the time you get to your retirement, all your debt is settled, and you can then have a stress-free retirement. Financial plans is also flexible. So remember, our situations changes over time. So you need to have a financial plan that is flexible so that you can adjust it as you go through your life stages. You might have a situation where now you need to plan for a child's education, you need to start planning for your retirement, and your financial plan will evolve over time to take this into account. So financial planning, in essence, improves your financial situation, and you can then you're in a better position to make decisions and react to any possible crises that you might experience.
Yeah, I think the last point is quite important. The crises, we part of our financial research that we did through the Human Sciences Research Council shows that 75% of South Africans do not have a 3-month salary to fall back on should they either lose their job or there's a loss of income. And internationally, a 3 months income is the kind of a buffer that is being put out there for you to be financially resilient or for you to have that emergency funds. And like I said, 75% of South Africans do not have that buffer. So if you don't plan, like you said, and you don't educate yourself, then obviously this will happen and you won't have that buffer. But I think we just need to move on to another area, Rihanna, is maybe because we spoke about technology and we spoke about artificial intelligence early on, and it's becoming quite topical. And I think nowadays, like I said, when you click on a button, you can invest, or you can even, with artificial intelligence, you can even get your own financial plan. And if you go onto the right platform, it'll spit out a plan for you. It might not be the right one for you, but it will spit out a plan. So how does AI influence financial planning, and what should consumers be aware of? Because we've mentioned all these things or the reasons why they should be planning. But once they start planning and they start using AI, what is it that they should be aware of?
So Linwell, AI has become quite a thing, as you have said. And I don't think we must just discount it right out and say, no, don't use it.
Yeah.
We are moving along, and especially the younger generation, they love the AI, they love the TikTok and all of that.
Generation Z, Gen Z.
Yes, you know, my generation are very wary of AI. We want to use it, but we're very careful in the way that we use it. And I think that's important, is always be very careful how you use it. Be careful where you click. Uh, you know, is it a trusted source? Is it a trusted platform? There is robo advisors there, and I'm not saying don't use it, but just remember it is an AI tool, and it's got its limitations and it's got its downside to it. So, it should complement your financial plan, but it should not replace your financial planner professional, your human interaction. I think that's very important, is we need to balance, the fact that we want to use this new tool, but be aware of its limitations, be aware of its biases, and be aware of the algorithms that it uses, so that you don't get into a position where you have lost your retirement plan or your investment plan. Speak to a financial professional, and make it sort of a team between the AI and your financial advisor. But educate yourself and make sure that your resources that you use are trusted resources.
No, definitely. And I think during COVID, we've become so used to using the internet. And most of us have now decided that the internet is the truth. So whenever we go onto any of these platforms, we don't do our due diligence to make sure that the information is accurate, to make sure that the algorithm that is behind the AI does not have errors. We know for the fact that some of these AI, artificial intelligence platforms, they've got inherent biases, whether it is political or financial, but they've got inherent biases. We also find that some of these AIs, there's no accountability, not unless it specifically states there that this automatic or the artificial intelligence is run by a specific company, because then that company is obviously accountable. And I think it's very important that we don't become, I think you've mentioned it, that we don't become too reliant on artificial intelligence. We've seen even students at university trying to write their examinations or their projects or their assignments via AI, and they get caught out eventually. So there's the human touch, as you said, is always important, that you need to touch base and you need to make sure that you research whatever platform you are on, and that you make sure that they are a reliable source of information, but also where you put your money, that you make sure that there is. I think in conclusion, AI can then be can be a powerful tool for financial planning, but like you said, Rihanna, it must be used in complement, but not to replace your qualified human expertise. And there's where your certified financial planner comes in. And I think, like you said, a hybrid approach is quite useful in this case. So, Rihanna, so now we've spoken about these platforms and the AI. So how do you make sure that this is actually who we say we are? How do you verify a financial planning professional's credentials? How do you make sure that you're speaking to the right person? I think you're on mute, Rihanna. There we go.
Am I back?
There, you back.
Perfect. That's technology. That's not AI.
Indeed.
So we need to be very aware of our financial planners, and that they are duly registered and competent in advising us. So the FBI has got a tool, Be Find a Financial Professional, where you can go and you can search for a certified financial planner or a financial services advisor or a a financial advisor that falls within your needs. So remember, there's different designations on the FPI platform, and you need to just make sure that the person you use is the person that is best suited to you. So when looking for a financial professional, don't just use the first person that you come across.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with a potential person and see if you will be able to work with this person, whether there is a link, a spark, that you know this person will be able to assist you with your financial planning. The other important thing, as we mentioned earlier on, is make sure that this person is properly licensed with the FSCA. And the FSCA also have their own tools and platforms. And maybe, Lynn, you can just tell us about your own platform that people can go and verify these professionals.
Yeah, definitely. And just to continue on what you said about make sure that's the right fit. It's almost like you need to shop around. You need to shop around to get the right person, because you need to get the right feel for the financial planner. I think in my lifetime I've probably changed a financial advisor about 3 or 4 times already, until I found the right person, which I currently have. To actually take me and my finances forward. So how do you know you get first of all, not the right person, but how do you know that you got the person that is authorized to give you the advice from the FSCA's point of view? We've got a financial services provider search portal. You can go onto www.fsca.co.za and you go find there's a button that says you can find a financial advisor or a financial services provider. You can then click on that, and you can search it by name, or you can search it by location or by area, and it will give you whether that person is certified or whether that person is authorized to sell a particular product. And I must add this. Yeah, I must add that, because sometimes we found that most recently some financial services providers have been selling products which they are not authorized, but they have an FSP number which is given by the FSCA, but that FSP number is not to sell that particular product. And therefore we actually must raise that you must sure they are authorized to sell that particular product. Okay. And I think, Rihanna, you probably will be able to tell us now, when you get to this person, if I get to the my financial planner, I've identified this person, what are the key questions to ask when you're looking for that financial planner? What do you ask? Because I think this is part of our financial education. We never know what questions to ask when we sit on the other side of the desk. So maybe you can give us some of those questions that should be asked. What are the key questions we are looking for in a financial planner?
Certainly, Lynn. And as we've already spoken about, the very first question is, are you licensed with the Financial Sector Conduct Authority as a financial services provider, and are you authorized to offer advice and sell the products that tell me you can? And like we've just said, between the FPI and the FSCA, you can make sure that this person has got the correct qualifications, they've got the experience, they've got the knowledge, and they are going to be providing you with the advice that is best suited for you. Something else that we need to do is ask them whether they meet the fit and proper requirements in terms of Section 8 of the Financial Advisory and Intermediary Services Act. Something else. What is your qualifications? This is important. And what is your designation? The Certified Financial Planner Professional has got a postgraduate diploma of financial planning on an NQF level 8. That is our highest designation and the highest qualification. But it will depend on your personal needs. Another question that we need to ask is maybe how many years of experience do you have? Am I comfortable in dealing with somebody that has just recently qualified? Or is my finances a bit more complicated so that I need somebody with a bit of more experience and industry knowledge? Very important question as well is, are you an independent or a tied financial advisor? This is important as it will help you determine whether they will be able to provide you advice on a range of companies and products, or whether they can only advise you on a certain company's products. And that will once again depend on your personal needs.
So I guess that's a definition or difference between independent and tied. Is the one can only deal with one company and others can deal with a range of companies. Am I correct?
That's correct. That's
cool.
Correct. So if
Thank
you're
you.
comfortable dealing with one particular company, then you can deal with the tied agent. But if you need to a product from different companies, please go for somebody that can offer you that specific range of products. Very important. What is your field of expertise? If I'm looking for somebody to do an investment for me, and this particular person is a short-term insurance broker, it's not the right person. So what is your field of expertise? Does that suit my particular needs? And then a very important one, and one that is being discussed a lot, is what is your fees? What do you charge and how do you charge it? Is it commission? Is it fees? Or is it both? While we're on the fees, financial planning is not for the rich. Financial planning is there for all. And it's just having that discussion with the potential financial planner to see whether, how they're going to get their fees. Is there any conflict of interest?
Yeah, I think that's important. And just to confirm, Rihanna, they have to disclose these things if you ask it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can even ask them to give it to you in writing.
Yeah.
That's
always
a good idea.
To get it in writing. Yeah.
Yes. And this is not a comprehensive list. There's many more questions, but I've just taken which I think is the most important ones. My last one is, will you help me to define and achieve my goals?
I think that's always very important. Because sometimes we don't even know what our goals are, and we need somebody to guide us in the direction as well.
Correct. Linwell, and what is the importance of consumer education? You've just mentioned that my list is part of consumer education. So why is it so important that we keep going back to consumer education and educate yourself? And that is what you and I do, is we love the consumer education part of it. But why is it so important?
Yeah, so before I get into that question, I just want to give some consumer education in terms of what we spoke of earlier on, of the ombuds. So if you look at, you said the fit and proper requirements in terms of Section 8 of the FAYS Act. If you feel that your financial advisor have not acted within the fit and proper requirements, you can actually report that person to the FAYS Ombud. So that you know exactly for that particular area where you feel these are not being honest with you, etc., you can actually go to the FAYS Ombud for that particular instance. But coming back to financial consumer education, and we've spoken about all of these things now for the past half an hour. or so. But we have Africans that are, we spoke about all the challenges. We've got individuals that are in debt. We've got people that the poverty levels are quite high. We've got people that only deal in cash. 60% of South Africans still believe that cash is king. And within our communities, cash goes around and around. And, we need to have people with basic financial knowledge about how to plan your finances, that is budgeting. How do we save? What kind of saving can we do? How do we manage our debt? We actually also find that 47% of South Africans can't service the debt, and those that have credit. So, financial education provides you with these kind of tools so that you can make proper financial decisions and you can overcome your indebtedness. We also find that people have, just excuse me, limited retirement preparedness. And for this, I mean, not a lot of people have jobs, which means they don't belong to a retirement fund, which means they must either depend on government grants when they retire. So they are not very prepared, and they will then eventually depend on family and friends for when they do retire one day, or they don't have, they can't work anymore. And I think this is where having financial education or financial literacy will actually help you to prepare you for the day when you cannot work anymore, or where the retirement age comes in. And I think in this way, you are empowered to take control of your finances. You can avoid the scams we're talking about, and you can build what we call financial resilience, which means you can actually take the shocks in life. Again, we found during COVID, when people started losing their income or the income of, a lot of people could not cope with that, and they weren't financially resilient. So it supports a broader economic stability by encouraging and fostering informed participation in the economy and within the financial markets. And sometimes this is very difficult because people, we tend to say in the consumer education business, people don't know what they don't know. So it's important that you start knowing what you don't know, so that into the data and in other areas. And just while we're on the topic, I think we might run out of time, Rihanna. I just want to highlight some of the initiatives we have underway as the FSCA. We've got a financial education plan that we update on an annual basis. We've got community projects, which we are in partnership with the Department of Public Works and Industry through the expanded public work projects, where we actually do workshops. And we've actually seen a 10% increase in knowledge and people's savings behavior. We run a national financial literacy speech competition for grade 11 learners, which provides investment prizes, but also the top 3 learners at national level, number 1, 2, and 3 out of the 9 provinces, they go on at any university of their choice, but also at any subject area. This year, on the 17th of October in Cape Town. So we do a lot of social media campaigns as well. Got an outreach program where we've got this little crafter where staff are driving around into deep rural areas where people don't even know the FSCA's name, and they speak to people under trees, etc. So there's various other initiatives, and if you want to know or want to be part of our initiatives, please go onto our consumer website at www.fscamymoney.co.za. Not to be confused with your My Money 123 program, which I'm sure you would like to tell our participants.
Thank you, Lindwell. Yes, and the FSCA and the FBI also collaborate, so we work together. On the FBI side, we have got our FBI My Money 123 workshops that you can book through going to our website, www.fbimymoney123.co.za. It is a 1.5-hour workshop where we take you through some relevant information. We also offer webinars such as this one. We've got a consumer webinar happening every month. We've got our consumer newsletter, and we are also looking at expanding our program to just support the work that both the FSCA the guys from the World Investor Week, IOSCO is doing. So the local events is actually there to enhance the global events, because financial literacy and financial education is a worldwide problem, and that is why we support these initiatives to make sure that consumers get educated. And I think on that, I'm just going to share our call to action, which is empower yourself to make and make use of the tools and resources that is available to you, to take crucial steps of partnering with registered financial professionals, and to do your financial planning and build a secure future with confidence. Thank you, Linwell, for joining me on this. And if I can hand over to Nikki to see if there is any questions.
Yes, it is quiet in the chat, but I have a question or two. So you spoke about AI. And the question out there is, if all of this information is available out there, why don't people just do their own financial plans? Can't you do that without needing a financial advisor? Any comments on that statement, Lindwell?
Okay, let me start. I think, I can't do it on my own. I need, and I think Rihanna has spoken about the age gap. Sometimes you need that personal touch. And we've also seen in our research, South Africans, they don't want to talk on a platform when they speak. Money is a very personal thing to me, at least. And when you speak about money, you must sit across me from the table, not on a screen. You must sit, and I want to look you in the eye when I speak about my money. And I think that's the personal touch is always very important. If you rely on a machine, you got basically no recourse, because you're looking at this machine, and this machine will just, if you ask questions, they'll call center. And I don't know how many of us have been in contact with a call center, and they tell you to hold on, and there's a lovely music playing. Whereas if you have a financial planner or a financial advisor that you can phone up and contact and say, listen, I see something is happening on the JSE. I see there was the ringing of the bell. What does that mean? They rang the bell for financial literacy on Monday. What does that mean? It's a stock exchange. Why are they ringing a bell? So these kinds of questions you can then ask your financial advisor, because your financial advisor is a phone call away, and it's that personal human touch. I think that's quite important. I don't know if you agree with me, Rihanna.
Absolutely, Linwell. And you said something very important earlier on. You don't know what you don't know. So if this AI bot gives you this information, you're going to trust it because you don't know what you know. Whereas a financial advisor, a financial professional has studied, they've got the knowledge, they can help you check the correctness of the information and make sure that the decisions you make will have a positive effect on your financial future. So the human aspect is very important, and the educational aspect. And AI is, remember, it's driven by algorithms, and somebody is feeding this information to the bot, and we need to verify. We need to verify that that is correct.
Absolutely.
I hope that answers your question, Nikki.
It does. It does. And I'm going to add something. We are now running, when we certify our certified financial planners, they have to present a financial plan to us. And I can tell you that the integrated financial planning, where we look at all aspects of a client's life as a planner. So you look at estate planning, you look at investments, you look at trade-offs and debt and budgets and all of those type of things. There's no way that an AI bot can do an integrated financial plan, because it can do some of the calculations for you, but it can't help you to prioritize and to make sure that you get the right things in place. And that is where your financial planner comes in. They will also hold your hand during this process, because sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. especially when it comes to spending, and they will keep you accountable. I think that's very important.
And
Then
that emotional aspect also, we're very emotional beings, and the AI doesn't understand emotions. So
absolutely.
and emotions plays a big role in our financial planning.
Then while we were sitting listening, while I was sitting listening to you, I saw a email coming through from the FSCA about scams, little blurbs that you can post, and I actually think they're very relevant. Both in my personal story, my husband and my father were both scammed in the last year. And I think they're reasonably intelligent people. So it happens, they are aware of these things and still it happened to them. Lindwell, what's the signs that you have to look out for when dealing with someone and you're not 100% sure, is this a scam? Is this for real? Are there some things that can help people to immediately distinguish that this is maybe not cool?
Look, it's normally, and it's something I wanted to mention earlier on, as part of World Investor Week, one type of scam I quickly want to highlight is the relationship investment scams. So one red flag is if somebody phones you or sends you a message out of the blue, you don't know this person from anywhere, but they want to start a relationship with you. In real gory terms, it's also called pig butchering, where they've actually got in some countries, they've got whole villages that takes part in this pig butchering, where they actually scam people. The whole village goes out, networks out across the world. And the reason why they're calling it pig butchering is because they fatten you up during the relationship. So while they're talking to you and they're gaining your trust, they actually go out and make a concerted effort to gain your trust. And at some point, they hit you with an offer, some kind of opportunity for you, and it's normally shrouded in secrecy. Don't tell your friend, don't tell this one, because it's just for you. And then the urgency comes, but it only lasts for a couple of days or only for today. Okay. So those are kind of red flags. The call you get out of the blue, the urgency part, the secrecy part, and then the promise of, listen, man, if you invest today, your returns is going to double by tomorrow. And in some instances, you actually get that money back double tomorrow. For you to invest more, it's like the hook, they hook you. And then once you're on the hook, because they know now you're going to invest more money because you've seen some returns. And the third one or the fourth one, I've mentioned a couple of ones now, is when somebody testifies. When somebody says on the same website that you're on, you say, I got paid out X amount. I've got paid out this one. And please be careful of people that testify about how much money they got out. And I think this is important. And in the same breath, I just want to answer the question in the chat about how are we protecting people. I think one of the things that we do is right now is by informing people, right? The second part is that the FSCA, we can't do it alone. We partner with the FBI, we partner with the South African Fraud Prevention Services, we partner with the Advertising Regulatory Board. We even chat to people like Google to make sure what are their responsibilities when it comes to these digital platform, because they just allow anybody to start a platform on Google within their search engine. So those are the signs, Nikki, and you can only protect yourself if you are very wary, and if you're wary, and if you just check up first, where am I clicking? Where is this going? And why is this person all of a sudden interested in me? What am I that important? Because we all want to get into a relationship. It's also called romantic partnership scams. And at the end of the day, it might not be an investment. They might have a sick child that you need to pay the hospital fees for. And I'm asking people, everybody that's on this line, and if you put this on YouTube, please do not fall for it. Please make sure that you investigate before you give your money to anybody. It's your money, you've earned it. Don't just give it away.
I I agree, Lindwell. And I think what scares me most about especially the relationship scams is they really prey on your deepest needs, which is the need for companionship.
Yes.
And the moment someone says, because as you say, I have got a bit of an obsession with old Dr. Phil episodes. I know I maybe should get some help for that, but I do. But he did a very comprehensive series on people that were scammed like that and how they build up to a point where they can't even see that there's something that's not supposed to be right. So I absolutely agree with you. There is so much scams out there. You have to be very wary. Do not trust anyone or anything with that.
And if I can add one thing before you continue, the victim mentality. Sometimes we now realize we've been a victim. So now we feel so scared and we embarrassed to talk about it. I'm urging people, if something like this happened to you, get help. Ask around, because you are not alone in this. And somebody, it's a criminal that actually physically attacked you, if I can put it that way, whether it was online or not. But this person took away some of your dignity. So don't let it happen to you, because you are not alone. It's an emotional thing. But seek help, please. I think this is an important part of it.
Absolutely. And then just my last question for both of you is, I think in this day and age that we live with, and the amount of information that is available to us, but especially to our kids that's on cell phones all day and TikToks with influencers out there and all kinds of scams and things. I think the most important thing we can teach them is to think critically about what you believe and what you don't believe. How do we deal or how do we plan to deal in South Africa with influencers that are sitting there, that are sponsored by whoever it might be, and saying anything and everything out there to say, yeah, exactly, like especially crypto, double your money, invest in this, you're losing out if you don't, those type of things without being licensed. So Lindwell, any ideas about that?
Then Rihanna coming, because I speak a lot.
I don't mind. I think it boils down to educate. I think more education is needed, more sessions like this is needed, and I think more collaboration is needed between all the parties in our country that does consumer education, is educate, and for parents to speak to the children and show them the pitfalls. Yeah.
So from an FSCA point of view, and I think globally, a lot of countries have moved towards regulation of influencers. I think in Spain and even in the UK and in the US.
And Australia.
Well, they've actually put regulation in place. And from our side, we're also starting going into that direction. Obviously, if the influencer is tied to a financial services provider, that FSP is responsible at the end of the day. But these influencers, and here's the challenge, because influencers don't use direct words like you must buy this product. They always encourage, or they use some nice fancy language to make you feel that that almost like they understand what they're talking about. But again, here, like Rihanna said, first go and investigate, who is this influencer? Where do they come from? What are their backgrounds? And who are they talking on behalf? Because they might be a scammer in disguise as well. So make sure that you understand what it is, where they get the information from, and don't believe everything on face value. Do your own research. The FSCA, we're unbiased. The FBI is unbiased. We're not trying to sell you anything. The FBI is not trying to sell you a financial product. Neither is the FSCA. So contact us. We will give you unbiased information. We will tell you what the law says. We will tell you what the regulations are. We will give you the authorized services provided from that is on the FBI's database. So I think you need to contact the people that are in the know and are credible people, and don't believe to some of them are good. I mean, I know some personal influencers that are very good, that know their stuff and that they don't cross the line. Yes. But some of them, they don't know what they're talking about. So be very careful.
Yeah, FBI is also busy with our Young Financial Planner organization trying to load more content on TikTok to somehow counter some of the, disinformation that is available. Well, that's my last comment. Becca, I see you asked me that question directly. I will answer you via email. So thank you very much, Rihanna and Lynn. Well, I think this is a very apt into our financial planning week. Our what I call it festivities, information session this week. And we will see you again next time. Keep an eye out for our last consumer education sessions for the year that will be held in November. And if you need anything consumer education wise, please contact Rihanna at fpimoney123.co.za. Thank you so much.
Very much, everyone. Stay well.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.